the frightening development in our country that requires critical stakeholders like us to go beyond just mere rhetorics and reactions of the National Working Committee, NWC, on national issues. We deliberate and act on the situation. The situation we find ourselves in security. We've been reacting. We have been several press conferences and several press statements by the National Publicity Secretary on behalf of Working Committee. But you know that that is not working in our country currently. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, even if we step out to demonstrate, this government is deaf and dumb. They are not going to respond to it, just like they don't respond to the issue of security crisis in our country. Our country today is grounded by insecurity, and there has been no matching response from government despite the demands of the 1999 operating constitution in section 14, subsection 2B, that the welfare, well-being, security of all citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. This, they have failed woefully, Mr. President and the APC government. They have abandoned that responsibility completely, and they have lost control. Terrorists in the north before were confined in the northeast region, but today 50 villages have been reportedly taken by them in the north central states of Niger, where they are now. We hear it's about 2 hours or less drive from Abuja. Herdsmen are also menacing the west of our country, gunmen causing havoc in the east, and the militant in the south, all killing, looting, raping, maiming, burning down homes on daily basis. The situation is worst, never experienced in our country before. Nigerians all over are now living in fear, and everywhere is a war front. You cannot identify where the problems and where the enemies are located, but everywhere on all parts of this country is in dear, terrible trouble. Your Excellencies, the deplorable security situation in our country is already saturating the local and international media space that I need not bore you again. You are already aware of this situation. The situation is unabated. The situation has no hope, no solution aside what we are faced in today. Just a few days ago, you recall that some university students from the Green University in Kaduna were kidnapped and murdered. Killing security officers and DPOs and attacks all over in Lagos, in Imo, in Kaduna, in Kano, in all around the country. You can't name one and exclude the other. The situation is becoming overwhelming, and Nigeria is in distress, serious distress. We are in crisis. We are in crisis. Let me crave your indulgence that we will stand up for a minute's silence for all those that have been innocently murdered and killed, especially our children. This is the situation we find ourselves in our country. That every day as we wake up in the morning, the first breaking news is that children have been killed, children have been kidnapped from schools, children, adults, women, young women have been taken, hostage. The story is the same everywhere, and we are in pain and in sorrow, and no solution aside, and we don't know where we are going from here. It is tough, it is difficult moment in our history. No war, but yet more people are being killed every day and every time as we speak, and as you are here, people are being killed and kidnapped. You recall that a few days ago, even the Minister of Defense had to accept and agree with all Nigerians that there is bloodletting in our country. How long shall this continue? How long shall we continue to weep for our children and our elders that are being killed every day? The situation is the same in all the states. The situation is the same in all the zones. It is too much to bear. We don't know what else to do, but just to bring to the notice of the NEC that we are worried. Abuja is no longer even safe. Yesterday we got alert that airports and strategic locations, targets of these enemies of progress to bomb. It is no longer politics, and we don't want any response from the villa or from the presidency. As usual, rhetorics. It is no longer politics. It has nothing to do with politics, because all Nigerians are being killed. Neither can you identify them as APC or PDP. It is no longer politics. And we want to call on Mr. President that this has nothing to do with politics. It is a serious matter, more serious than ever before, that he needs to declare. Number one, he needs to declare a national state of emergency on security. It is important. It is important. He is the commander-in-chief. All the streets of Nigeria, you can see blood. All the streets of Nigeria. He needs to declare a state of emergency on security. National state of emergency on security. Number one. Number two, they need for him to call a national conference to discuss the issue of our country, and in particular, the issue of security. If not, I don't know what will be the result if we can get to 223. There may not be election. If people are being killed this manner, there may not be election. So it needs to carry on. It should not listen to any advice. It should listen clearly to the voice of the people. The voice of the people is the voice of God. And declare a national state of emergency on security, and convocate almost immediately the national conference to discuss the issue of Nigerian project, and in particular the issue of security. Your Excellencies, this is an emergency meeting where we don't need to delay, since we have only one item, but we have to talk about the current situation in our country. We are in pain. Families are in pain. Nigerians are in pain. Therefore, we will go straight to the issue at hand. Please bear with us. In a few minutes, this meeting will be over. And those who are members of National Caucus, remember that there will be a meeting on Friday just to discuss the issue of the security in our nation, so that we can come out with a clear statement on behalf of the leadership and on behalf of the entire PDP in our country. This country belongs to all of us. And so we must take part, we must prefer solution. It is no longer politics. Let's put politics aside and move the nation forward. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
I am happy to be here, in spite of all challenges, to answer the call of the party. We are always very loyal as governors to the party, and we want to assure you, Mr. Chairman, most of my colleagues are not here because of what you have said. I have not spoken to our dear chairman, Right Honorable Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, but I want to inform members of NEC that we are working assiduously towards making sure that we keep our unity, we keep the party afloat in such a manner that we free it from rancor and all the vicissitudes of ineptitude of the APC, so that at least we will give Nigerians the alternative that they require for 2023. We met in Makodi, and we discussed extensively the issues of security and the need for unity, and for us to make sure that we are on the same page with the National Working Committee and indeed all members of NEC, so that our tradition of unity and good governance that we are known for will not be diluted by any diversion. We have noticed some recalcitrant calls here and there. Some of them are just beginning to rear their heads very soon. Recently, on our National Working Committee, the governors are not with those people, they are on their own. As far as we are concerned, we are loyal to the leadership of the party. We are together as governors, and we have listened to some of our elders who have spoken to us privately and individually, so that we'll be able to keep the party together, free of rancor and division, in such a manner that we will come out strong in 2023. We thank you most sincerely for calling and abiding by the Constitution to call for this emergency NEC meeting, and we are all ears, and I'm sure by the time I get back, I will have the opportunity to brief our leaders of the Governors Forum and indeed all our colleagues. Thank you very much for the opportunity.